So sometimes you just have a patch of grass, and sometimes you just want a lawn. Now, a patch of grass could be a verge out the front of your house, could be an orchard area, could just be that bit of grass down the end of the garden you don't use. But if you want a lawn like this, there's certain things you've got to do to get a lawn looking like this. And I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get your patch of grass to become a lawn. So whether you're using a corded, a cordless, or a petrol machine to cut your lawn with, there's something that's very, very important, and that's height adjustment. Now, at different times of the year, you need to have the mower at different heights. So in the spring, for example, when the grass has been grown all winter, in the spring, the grass is quite tall. You've not given it its first cut. It's very, very important at that time of year to make sure that your mower is on its maximum height for that first cut. Because if you take that grass right down low, first off, without doing it gradually, and the sun comes out and the weather turns warm, the grass is going to be shocked. It's going to turn brown. It's going to look miserable. It's going to take ages to recover. So in the spring, start off on the higher cut, and then every cut just gradually drop down a little bit more and a little bit more until you're down to the cut that you're happy with for the rest of the summer. And in the autumn, you do the same but in reverse. You lift that height again just so you can suck up the leaves, just so you're not cutting the grass too short and it doesn't become a mud patch. And also, if we get a really, really hot, dry period of weather, it's always a good idea to raise the cut again as well, because a lawn that's slightly higher and taller will be much, much more drought resistant than a lawn that's cut really, really low. So that's one important issue. The heights really, really matter, and cutting your lawn at the right height at the right time of year will really make a difference to how green and healthy and viable your lawn is. Now, we've talked about height adjustment, which is very, very important, but there's another really critical thing you need to look at when cutting the grass. And it doesn't matter whether it's corded, cordless, or petrol machine. What you need to check is the blade underneath. It's really, really important to have a super sharp blade. If the blade is very badly chipped or big chunks missing or really, really blunt, it's not going to cut the grass, it's going to rip the grass. That means the surface of the grass after you've cut it will just become brown, it'll become discolored, it will just really spoil the look of the lawn. If you've got a super sharp blade, you get that really clean cut, and that's so, so important for keeping the lawn looking good once you've mowed it. If you think about when you use a razor, you use a blunt razor on your body, oh goodness me, that's really painful. You use a sharp razor, you get that fantastic sharp result. You don't end up with snags and tears. It's the same with the blade on your mower. So height is important, but just as important is that super, super sharp blade, and keep it sharp all the way through the season. Line trimmers these days can very easily be turned into lawn edgers, and they're absolutely fantastic for going along the edge of patios or where the grass meets decking or somewhere like that. But when it comes to actually cutting the grass where it meets the beds and borders, I prefer to use something else. And I'm going to show you now what I use to get that really, really sharp edge in that situation. To get those really super sharp edges, what I like to use is a really high quality pair of edging shears, and make sure they've got a really, really nice sharp blade. And then holding them in an upright position, go along the edge of your border where it meets the grass and just trim away that grass from the edge. That gives that really super sharp delineation between the flower bed and the grass area, your lawn area, and it stops grasses and weeds growing into that bed and border as well, and just gives that really nice professional look. So use your edging shears for those kind of areas, and you can use your lime trimmer come lawn edger for where the grass meets the patio or solid areas. Different tools for different situations that will give great results when used in the right way. One other thing you might consider doing as well before you actually start mowing is to use a line trimmer just to go along the edge of the beds where they meet the grass. That way, you don't have to get right up close to the edge of the lawnmower and risk the lawnmower toppling into the bed and fouling the edge of the grass or damaging your plants. Just make sure you've got your flower guard on your line trimmer. That lets you know how far the nylon cord comes out and you're not going to take those plants down. And then just go along the edge of that border like that with your line trimmer, trimming the grass back from the edge. That way you'll get a nice, neat, trimmed edge about 3 or 4 inches in. And then when you come to mow, you don't have to go right the way up to the edge, avoiding those problems that I mentioned earlier. Now you've done that line trimming along the edge, it means when you start mowing, as I'm about to now, you don't have to take the mower all the way up to the edge, because the line trimmer has trimmed that little bit for you, makes it a little less tricky to do that, and also avoids them toppling over into the flower bed and possibly destroying your nice straight edge. So I'm just going to run the mower around. And the important thing to do before you mow the whole grass is to go all the way around the edge of the lawn first, a couple of times, before you then start going up and down in opposite directions. And if you've got a roller, you'll end up with those fantastic stripes. So I'm just going to go along the edge now and make a start on trimming the lawn. So now you've cut that border all the way around the edge of the lawn, you can now just start going up and down in opposite directions. And if you've got a roller on your mower, you will get those incredible stripes. And then next time you cut, you can consider going in the opposite direction. That way it gets the grass to knit in really, really well, and it doesn't just grow in one direction. Then all you've got to do is sit back and just enjoy that fantastic lawn for the rest of the summer.